Hello, I'm K-May, and I'm going to be ranking all of the core companions in Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. Now, this tier list that I'm going to be making here is just about the core companions. There are a bunch of secret companions in the game, or companions that are tied to specific things that you can do. And I'm not going to be going over those. I'm just going to be going through all the companions you can get just kind of naturally throughout the game. 12 core. I think there's 12 if I know how to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, there's 12 of them. So going to be going through all 12 of them. And this is not going to be specific to their power. I'm not creating like a mechanical tier list because frankly I don't know enough about the way shit works in game to speak authoritatively on like party compositions and stuff like that. And it's kind of a combination. It's just how I feel about them. Some of that may involve mechanical stuff, and some of that, probably most of it's going to involve story and just what I think about the character itself or themselves. It's a Friday night here on campus, and I'm bored, and like I figured I may as well just do this, right? This is just some soda I'm drinking, and got my gamer bathrobe on. So, without further ado, let's get into it. I got two monitors here, so you might see me looking back and forth. I've got the tier list up on one monitor that you're looking at on your screen, and on the other, I have notes for my thoughts on the companions. Although I haven't actually thought about where I want to place them yet. But the order of which I rank them has been a little deliberate here. So our rankings are S, A, B, C, and D. What do these rankings actually mean to me? In terms of what is an S tier character? An S tier character is someone that I think that their story has been executed very, very well. I like I like them a lot. So once again, this is going off of my personal opinion on the character, not just how well their plot may have been executed or their mechanical value. But I digress. Let's get into the ranking. Okay, so the first one we have to rank is Camellia. Camellia is interesting. She is the second. Oh, by the way, spoilers. We're going to be talking about all of the whole quest line. Every companion's quest line is pretty much going to be spoiled. We're going to spoil all of it. Big spoiler moment. So if you haven't played the game yet, I'd recommend you play it because it's incredible. It's one of my favorite games now, and I've only played the game through once, so this is quite a hot take here. Once again, if you haven't played the game, go play it now. I've been delaying actually doing the tier list for too long. I keep talking. This is probably going to take a long ass time, but I'm not doing anything tonight. May as well. Okay, so Camellia. Camelia's great. She is the second companion, I believe, in the game. You go, you fall into the rift, and there's Seelah and Camellia. I think. When I first played the game, I actually thought Anevia, whatever her name is, she was going to be a companion as well, because you kind of get her along with Seelah. And I thought, okay, cool. I mean, Anevia, she seems great. No, she's not a companion, much to my surprise. But I digress. We're talking about Camellia. Let's check my notes here. Okay, first thing, she's hot. That's a bonus. I'm not gonna lie. But she's also crazy. She's batshit insane. She just likes killing. She likes to kill people. She likes to gobble them up. And then she likes to have hot, horny sex over their dead bodies. Which, when that first came along in her quest line, where you go down into the basement and Anevia is just, not Anevia, and Camellia is just standing over this dead body. And it's revealed that she's been doing all the killing. It's not that it's a big surprise. it's kind of like I was kind of like, well, shit, what are you doing down here? And she was like, how's it going, buddy? I've been doing this. And that was a great reveal. I really liked that. And I like that the developers thought, we're just going to fucking take this shit to the moon. We're going to make this character evil. We're going to make her fucking like inexcusably evil. We're going to make her, she just enjoys killing. She just likes the murder. She likes to eat their dead bodies. And then, you know, have sex. Which I turned down on my first playthrough, or on my playthrough. I've only played it once. I played through as a beast tamer bard, Azada. So that will kind of color my opinion. Chaotic good, that kind of colors my opinion of all the characters. Some things I may not have been able to see because I didn't like go along with some of their shit. But there's a choice you can make. You can kill Camellia down there in the basement, or as you walk out of the basement, out of the house, you can speak to Anivia and be like, the killer's in that basement, deal with her. It's a chaotic decision. And at first I made that decision. I was like, I don't want someone so insane in my party. You know, that's a bad look, Sweaty, for the Crusades. I don't want this person going around Dresden murdering people. But I reloaded. And I decided to, keep her alive, but just kind of tell her, stop killing people and I'll let you live, basically. I turned down the sex. My character didn't really want to have, weird dead body sex. Because I reloaded and let her in the group because I really wanted to see where it went. I wanted to see where this goes, and it did not disappoint me. When you're Act 4 in Alushanira, I believe it's called. I think it's Alushanira. And it just keeps going. It just keeps getting worse and worse. And and I just kept going along with it because I thought, I want to see where this goes next. I thought it might stop in Alushanira when she, I persuaded her to kill the dummy, not the real human. I think you can, I forget what it's called, but you can substitute like the real slave, the slave person, or the real person with like a weird slave. It's not like a real person thing, which she wasn't too pleased about, but she killed that thing. And then it just kind of kept going where she's like, let's go visit my father. And then she like wants to kill him, and I persuaded her to let him live. But then we killed everyone in the estate, just because she likes killing. She's a big fan of murder. So I think she was an excellent companion. I'm not a fan of her mechanically. She's like a spirit shaman or something. I don't care much for that. I think it fits her character. I think it's interesting she's actually a shaman, but she just made that shit up with the alignment concealing necklace. I do have more thoughts on all these companions, but for the sake of brevity, we're just going to move along because I don't want to spend, 20 minutes talking about each companion. Maybe I'll make a video on each companion individually, but probably not. So where would I put Camellia? I think she's an A. I think she's an A-tier companion. In terms of what I like about her, she kind of, she could be a B. Mostly because I just didn't use her very much. I didn't get a lot of her dialogue because mechanically I didn't like keeping her around. But whenever we were doing her quest line, I was always engaged. I never really felt there was a dull moment with her. But I'm gonna, instead of A, I'm gonna put her in B, just because I didn't spend much time with her. Daeran. Okay, so, excuse me. So there's this YouTuber I really like called Mortismal Gaming. He made a companion tier rank video as well. Mortismo's great. You should watch him if you don't. He does a lot of CRPG stuff. But I kind of disagree with his Daeran take, even though I respect it. I think he's, smart guy. But Daeran, he's an A. He's funny. I think he's the funniest companion to keep around, even though he is like a bad person. But he's not a bad person in the way Camellia is a bad person. Camellia is bad just because she likes being evil. She woke up and chooses violence every day. But Daeran is just kind of, his alignment's neutral evil, and he's just like, he loves debauchery. He just likes, being selfish and pursuing enjoyment at all times. And he's got some of the best dialogue in the game where he's just, he just caps on people. He'll just insult them, make fun of them. I thought he was a great healer when he was my designated healer. He was always on my party. There was never since I unlocked him in Canabras, I think it's called. When I unlocked him in Canabras, I was never without him because I just thought he was so funny to have around. And once you get that, his like heal life or whatever the fuck shit, where he heals everyone around, was really good for in between fight healing when I played through. Like 3 uses of that thing, and like everyone was at max health. I'm not very good at the game, or I wasn't very good at the game my first playthrough. I'm playing through it again now, but we'll talk more about that later when we get to Wenduag. He wasn't very good in combat because like I was just bad at the game and I didn't really know how to properly utilize him. But I digress. I put him in A. Before we move on, I got 2 more things to mention in my notes here. He's got a good character portrait. I like his portrait, but if you have the Wrath of the Righteous art book, which I received for purchasing the big $100 edition because I'm fucking crazy, on GOG. I purchased that on GOG, so it comes with the art book, and I think the other character portraits in there for Daeran are much better. I like his character portrait that they went with, but I think the ones in the art book are just better. Also, he's got a romance, I think he's got a romance. I remember turning him down at some point, but I didn't go for it because I'm not really into dudes. Sorry, Daeran. Also, I forget to mention the Oracle stuff. How could I forget? The thing with the other, I actually really liked that. Where he can't talk about it. He can't know that you want to do you want to kill the other that has been possessing him or whatever, giving him his powers. And so you have to trick him and trick the other into thinking that you're going to kill him and literally burn him at the stake. And I thought that was really good. I loved that ending mission there. Excuse me, I'm burping all the time. I'm drinking this cola here. But I thought that mission was really, really good. I love that idea. And I thought it was, just executed very well. Daeran's A tier. Okay, on to Ember. Ember is literally a child. I like the idea of Ember. Well, she's like 100, but she acts like, it's kind of weird. She's like 100 years old, I think. But to elves, that's like a 7th or an 8th of their lives. I think elves live like 700 years. At least they do in D&D. I don't know how long they live in Pathfinder on Galarian, or whatever planet they came from. They ran off to and then came back after the Earthfall, I think. But I digress. So Ember, she's literally a child. It always felt kind of weird to me having her around because she acts like she's 8 or like 9 most of the time. A lot of times she acts like super, super young. I know what they're going for with Ember. I hesitate to say that I like it. I think I like the idea of it more than I actually ended up liking it in practice, of this character, or this very pure person who who believes in the good within people. Whoa, so scrolling down there. Follow at KMainPlay on Twitter. Going for this, like, you know, person who's very pure and sees the good in people. I think it's interesting that she's an atheist. She, you know, being an atheist in the Pathfinder universe is very different than being an atheist in real life. She doesn't reject that the gods are real. That would be an absurd thing to do in the Pathfinder universe. She just thinks that, you know, there's no use in placing your faith and trust in a higher power, because they can just take that away from you or something like that. But I really like her quest line. I think her turning, I forget the name of the demon lord, but I think it starts with a K. I could be wrong. I don't remember. But she turns her into the Redeemer Queen. I thought that was really, really good, and I loved her quest line a lot. I think she's pure. She also makes me feel like a good person, because sometimes when you click on her and, you know, you select the mover, she'll say, like, you're a good person, and that gives me warm, fuzzy feelings. C tier. I don't know. I wasn't too strong on her. She's all right, I guess. I should say I don't dislike any of the companions in this game. I like all of them. Honestly, like, I love all of them. I think they're all super good. This is just, like, you know, relative to each other, where do they fall on the tier list? It's that kind of thing. Although I think they are all really, really good. Some of my favorite characters just in video games, to be honest. And I really mean that. Also about Ember. This is kind of petty, I guess. But her character portrait is... I don't like it. I really don't like her character portrait. I think it's my least favorite in the game. Between literally every character. Between all the characters in the game, every character portrait that I've seen, Ember has my least favorite character portrait. It's too dark. I don't know. Like, I know there's like a fire going on behind her or something. I think like a town is burning. I think it's her being burned at the stake. I'm not quite sure what it's supposed to be, but I don't like it. I can't like see her face. It also I feel like it kind of clashes with all the other character portraits, but it's whatever. I don't really care that much. I just felt like mentioning it. Ember is C tier. Okay, Greybor. Greybor is divisive. I've seen a lot of people online be very strongly against Greybor. Well, I must say, you're wrong. I'm joking, but you feel the way you feel, and that's okay. But I love Greybor. I think Greybor is awesome. I think he's a beast. I love the professional assassin thing they've gone for. He's true neutral. He doesn't give a shit. He's here because you pay him. But like as you complete his quest line and adventure more with him, he starts to gain more of a respect for you than just as an employer. He almost starts to consider you a friend by the end of the quest line, and you can persuade him to go back to his family that he left behind, and go and be a father to his daughter, who in my ending I got with Greybor. She grew up to be a fearsome fighter, just like Greybor did. I think he's awesome, and he's got the best character portrait in the game, straight up. I love it. I love him, leaning against whatever kind of fence or post or whatever, or wall, and he's smoking this pipe, and he's got like his dwarven war axe on one side, and his other weapon I don't remember the name of on the other, but he just looks so cool, and everything you need to know about Greybor is just embodied in that image. Also, incredible voice acting. I think he's got like the best voice in the best like male vocals in the game. I love his voice. This is a hot take. This is gonna upset a lot of people. He's A tier, and I mean it too. And I will not apologize. That's a joke, of course. If you don't like him, you don't like him. Lann, all right. Let's see. What do I have on my notes for Lann? Lann is the mongrel I went with for my Azada playthrough. Because like I at the beginning of the game, you're given the choice to show the mongrels the light of heaven through the sword you just found or whatever. And Wenduag pulls you aside before you do that, before you show Chief Soul the sword or the light of heaven, and she says like, listen, don't do that. Don't show them, because they're gonna go get themselves killed. And I was listening to her and I was like, well, she's kind of crazy, but like she makes a good point there. They're probably gonna go get, these mongrels are gonna go get themselves killed. I don't really want to do that. So initially I refused to show the light of heaven to the mongrels, but like as I adventured through the maze with Wenduag, I just found that I didn't like her. Or not that I didn't like her, but I liked her character, and we'll get to that when we speak specifically about Wenduag. It's just that I didn't feel like she was a good fit. Like, oh my gosh, this person's awful. Like when those, when you come into that room where you've got the demon and, you know, the mongrels over the body that they have to like consume the human of or whatever, perform cannibalism or something. Wenduag is like, oh, fucking, I did it and I turned out fine. These bitches, they better be able to stand it if they want to get strong. And that really repulsed me from Wenduag. And I'm talking a lot about Wenduag here. But at that point, you're given the decision to choose between Lann and Wenduag. I went with Lann because he, you know, he wasn't like crazy like Wenduag was. Now, getting on to Lann specifically, and not just how I got him in my party, he is really funny. He's like Daeran to me in that I never left without him. I always had Lann in the party. I loved his dialogue. He has like such a dry sense of humor. I think his voice acting is a bit odd though. Most of the time when there were voiced lines, I would sit and listen to the entire line being read because I really like to hear the inflection put into the words. But a lot of the time for Lann's dialogue, I would just skip the text. Not because I think his voice actor did a bad job. In fact, I think Lann has excellent voice acting. When I hear his voice, I think that it fits his character perfectly. It's just that Lann talks super slow. He's just super slow at talking. And, like, I've got limited time on this earth. My first playthrough of Wrath of the Righteous took, like, 80, almost 90 hours or something. So, like, I was sit down and play the game for, like, 4 hours at a time. And listening to Lann, like, come on, man, I got things to do. Speak a little faster here. But otherwise, I think he's great. I love the mongrels. His quest line is incredible. Where he's, you know, he's kind of cursed with this short life that he really wants to make a meaning out of. I love the stuff with his mom. I'm gonna keep it real, guys. Kind of teared up a little bit because I'm a baby. When like he's reunited with his mom and he lets all that baggage go. And, like, when they, like, hug, you know, and then they have that little bit of dialogue where they go back and forth where he's like, you know, oh, my God, Mom, how am I going to get how am I going to get wifed up when people are going around talking about how, you know, Lann's mom is here, you know, telling him to do this and that. I don't remember the exact dialogue, but it was just so cute. I loved it so much. He's S tier. Easily one of my favorite companions in the entire game. He's also just a beast. I don't know. Way I built him, it just ended up, he just destroyed everything. When Lann, you know, drew back his bow and let a shot go, fucking whatever he was pointing at died. And then everything around it died with it because of the mythic feat or ability that I took, where if you, like, kill an enemy with a bow, all the enemies around take damage or whatever, equal to the weapon attack damage. But just awesome character. I love him so much. Wenduag. So as I said, I didn't actually play through with Wenduag, and I'm playing through the game again, and this time I am taking Wenduag with me. It's going to be like a little more chaotic evil kind of tending that direction, chaotic evil playthrough. I tend to like chaotic characters more, just in my opinion. They're cool. Oh, I should say, I wrote this down in my notes, and I forgot to mention this because I can't read. I wrote, if I were gay or liked men, I'd want Lann. What a guy. If I were gay, Lann would be the guy I went for in this game. I know he does have a romance, but you have to be a female character. I wouldn't romance him anyways because I'm not really into men. But if I were, it'd be Lann. Although I wonder what's going on down there. Is it half reptile, half goat, or whatever? I don't remember what his halves are, but it's like human. He's got the horn and the reptile half. I don't know. Snake half, I think. I don't remember, but I'd be curious to see what's going on down there. Just to say that. I digress. On to Wenduag. I didn't take her. I don't know much about her. Now that I'm taking her on my second playthrough of the game, which is going to be a chaotic, kind of chaotic evil trickster, is what I'm going for. I like her. She's like obsessed with power, and she wants to. Excuse me. She's like obsessed with power and like serving someone who, is like dominant and who she perceives as being the winner, who's going to win. I think she's chaotic evil. I don't remember. But she certainly plays chaotic evil in a different way than Camellia does, and in a way that I really like, if she is indeed chaotic evil. But given that I haven't completed her questline, I don't know much about her, but I do like her. I'm going to put her in C tier. Just not because she's bad, but as I said, I just don't know much about her. Also, call me a furry, but she's kind of hot, even though she's like got a weird spider cat thing going on. That's just the truth. Moving on to Nenio. So Nenio is one of the two companions in this game I did not complete the quest line for, because her quest line was just I know that you have to go around and solve all these puzzles. I just didn't have the patience. So I don't know what's going on with her. I don't know her whole deal. I'm gonna be completing it on my second playthrough here, now that I kind of have more patience and I know more about the game. I'll probably go through and spend half my life trying to figure out the puzzles. But Nenio, I don't know. I'm glad that she's a wizard. I like wizards. Wizards are one of my favorite casters just because I like the aesthetic of wizards, and I think she fits that perfectly. I think her dialogue is incredible, is always funny. She's got like her experiment stuff is always cracks me up. There's one part in Illusionera on the Nexus where she says, like, I need to figure out what friends are like, having friends is like. And, she's like, friends do these 5 things. They, like, smile at each other. They hang out. They gossip. They complain or whatever. And they copulate. And you can just, like, stand there with your pants down in front of her for, like, 5 minutes as she just draws in her, or, like, writes something in her journal. And the text dialogue says it's clear there will be no copulating, which that alone is just really funny to me. I'm gonna put her in C tier. I like her. I think she's great, but I didn't do her quest line, so I don't know much more about her. Although and I didn't really have her in my party very much. We'll get to my party composition later, or maybe not at all, depending on if I forget. But I digress. I didn't spend much time with her, but the few times I did have her and I did see her dialogue, it was always really funny. Okay, Regill? I think it's Regill. Regill here is a character I did not expect to like. I actually expected to be very bored by him. When I first met him, or I should say, when I first realized he was actually a companion and that you could, have him in your party, I thought I would be like, oh, this guy's really boring. Actually, I found that he was one of the most interesting party members to have around. He is lawful evil, but he's not like just a crazy evil person. He's like he's very much ends justify the means, but what I really think is interesting about him is that he's lawful evil. And when you think of evil, or at least when I think of evil, it's like, okay, you got like the crazy wizard or whatever who's, turning people into snails in the dungeon. I don't know. Or, evil people doing evil stuff, right? But he's actually lawful evil working towards a good end, which is like closing the world wound and getting rid of all the demon infestation. And I think that that's really cool. I think that they did a really good job with that. I think the Hell Knights are very interesting in this game. His quest line was kind of meh to me. Maybe because I was playing through as a chaotic Azada. He didn't really give a shit about me. I love that he would constantly he always had shit to say about what I was doing, about my decisions. He was like, why are you doing this? This is a bad idea. You shouldn't do this. And I would just do it anyway. And he would be like, you're a fucking moron. And I'd be like, what are you going to do? Leave? And he never did. So, in fact, he took a big fat L with the Hell Knights to stick around with me. So, sucks to suck, Regill. Also, I think it's really cool that he's a graying gnome. Or I forget what it's called. Bleaching. He's bleaching because gnomes, it's like in their blood, in their ancestry or something. They need to go around and pursue new experiences and new emotions to constantly, be experiencing that stuff so that they live longer. I don't know too much about gnomes in Pathfinder, but if they don't if they stop like experiencing happiness and new stuff, they start bleaching. Where they literally grow gray and then die. And I think it's really cool and interesting that Regill is a gnome specifically. I think that makes his character a lot more interesting. And he's high C. I want to put him in B just because there's not a lot of B representation. But we're going to keep him in C for now. I'll go through at the end and kind of double check the tier list here. Oh, talking for a bit, man. I gotta pee, but I'm not gonna because then I'd have to like edit this video and like join the two segments together where I like stand up to pee and then come back and like then I'd have to wait like 30 minutes for the video to export or whatever in a Premiere. Whatever, who cares? All right, let's move on. Seelah, Paladin of Iomedae. That kind of summed up my feelings. There we go. She's kind of boring. I'm not generally a fan of paladins, but as far as paladins go, I do think that she's done very well. I think it's good that she's a paladin specifically of Iomedae because, Iomedae, the inheritor, is a big deal in the Wrath of the Righteous because she's kind of like, I don't want to say leading the crusade, but she's a lot of like motivating factor behind the crusade. I think Queen Galfrey worships Iomedae. Not sure. I don't really care at the moment. We're talking about Seelah. So what do I like about Seelah? I think, so she's lawful good, but she's not lawful moron. At game tables, you tend to have like, let's say a lawful good paladin shows up at the D&D group or Pathfinder group. I haven't played Pathfinder at all, but I've played a bunch of D&D. If you have like a lawful good paladin sit down in the group, if they're played by someone who does not understand what fun is, and how to get along with other people in your group and how to get along at a game table. Lawful good paladins tend to be like, rogue, what are you doing? It's wrong to steal. No, we shouldn't do that. We should do the just thing or whatever. And they tend to be kind of buzzkills. But Seelah's never really like that. There's a lot of internal struggle with her that I really like, where she's wondering, I'm a paladin, but am I really doing good? Am I doing, in the things that I'm doing, are they being good on a world stage kind of thing? Like, she's kind of struggling with her feeling of purpose in her life. And that is, I love her origin story, where she used to be like a thief, a pickpocket or something. I think what happened, correct me if I'm wrong about this, but she stole a paladin's hat or a paladin's helmet before they went off to fight a battle with like a great worm. I don't remember. And because the paladin didn't have the helmet, the paladin died. And so Seelah was like, oh shit, damn bro, that's crazy. I'm going to worship Iomedae or something. I don't know. I didn't pay much attention, but, the backstory that I did read of her, I really liked. I think her quest line's all right. I mean, I don't think it's the best, but it's okay. It's like, you've got this like couple that's getting married or whatever. I do like the part of the group of the cart or whatever, the beer cart. I think that's really good. In Canabras. Anyways, I'm tired of talking about Seelah. D tier. Okay, Sosiel, whatever. Kind of boring. I'm not a big fan of Sosiel. I know he wants to find his brother or whatever. That's his like story. I don't give a shit. I didn't really care. He's a companion that I think he had the worst introduction of all the companions in the entire game. Because you get him at the start of Act 2, I think, around level 6 or 7, I don't remember. And you're just kind of running around exploring, your new war camp, and you meet Sosiel. I just thought he was a dude. I just thought he was some guy in the war camp painting. And like it felt like he was kind of unceremoniously dumped onto me. I think he should have had a more, like, I could be misremembering. Maybe I just skipped through dialogue or something. But I think he should have, approached you. It should have been like a mandatory cutscene or something where he comes up to you and he's like, hello, I'm going to be working with you or something. All the other companions are introduced way better. But Sosiel, I think he's got the weakest introduction. I'm glad he's repping one of the best gods, Sarenrae. I like Sarenrae, goddess of like creativity and art and shit. I think it's great. I love the peaceful warrior thing going on, where he's like an artist, but it's kind of like a kind man's war or something, is the title of one of his quests. And I think that's a really good kind of like, I don't know, poetry thesis shit thing. I don't know. Art, whatever, who cares? But I really like that. I like his themes. It's just that I think the character itself kind of fell flat. Although there's one piece of dialogue that stuck with me, that I actually really, really liked. I didn't have him in my party too much because, I don't know, clerics are kind of boring to me. And I think it may have been with Regill or Greybor or one of the evil characters. I don't remember. Neutral or evil characters. I don't remember. He said, the evil character, I'm going to say Regill, probably, I don't remember, said, like, people like you should tend to gardens and not be soldiers in war. Like, you don't belong here. And Sosiel responded, actually, it should be people like me who are in war, and it should be people like you who tend gardens. And I thought that was, like, really interesting perspective. That line, that interaction, that like camp interaction, kind of embodies a lot of his character. And like you get a perspective of his worldview like that the second you hear that line. So I just think that that's really awesome. But in terms of just his character, he kind of fell flat for me. I just don't really care. I'm going to put him at the bottom. I think he's my least favorite character, which is not to say he's bad. As I said, I think all the characters are great. I love all of them. It's just that, some get a little more love than others from K. All right. Woljif. Woljif is fun. I like Woljif. He's got some good, funny dialogue. One of the... I don't remember which, was it the Diplomatic Council or something? Where there's something going on in Canabris or something, and you can get some policy or something. And he says, give the tieflings equal rights. and that shit was so funny because tieflings already had equal rights. I think it was like a line by Lann or Daeran or something, and it was just so good. I think I went with Lann's establish a democracy or something, because democracy's based, but that one line by Woljif was just so good. I like rogues as well. I think he's a really good rogue. I think he's almost quintessential in like that kind of arcane trickster way. He's got a really good quest line that I'll keep it real, kind of slept through the dialogue on, so I don't remember too much. I do remember in Shanira, you can choose to make him evil or embrace the good side of him. I've heard that you can kind of get him to embrace his power, his genetic power or whatever, as a great grandson of Baphomet or whatever. But I didn't do that. In my ending, he got fat and wore a top hat, I think, and a cane. So I'm going to put Woljif in B tier. I know it's kind of controversial putting Woljif below Daeran and Greybor, but that's how I honestly feel. Okay, so this is a big one. Arushale. Arushale is easily my favorite companion in the entire game. Why is she my favorite companion? If you've played the game, you already know. So, before I preface my explanation, let me just say, I think she's kind of hot. I know, she's a succubus, so she's got it going on. She's got an excellent story. I think romance stuff aside, I like the idea of her character. In fact, I love the idea of her character, of this demon. It could be male, it could be an incubus or succubus. I think that she's a succubus, or she could have been an incubus, doesn't matter. But the fact that they're specifically one of those kinds of demons is very interesting, because succubuses and incubuses, they have a lot of interaction with mortals, a lot of very direct interaction, where a succubus goes into your life and she fucks you up, like she did for that Azada, right? Where he threatened to fuck her eyes or something. That was fucking brutal, but it was a really good line. But there's a lot of direct interaction there. So she starts to feel remorse for all these direct things that she's done, and she's trying to be redeemed by the goddess Desna, right? Which fit in very well with my Azada playthrough. Even though my character worshipped Caden Kalian, the best god, the ascended one. If I remember correctly, he's just the goddess of drinking and alcohol and shit. I love him, but I digress. So I really like the idea of Arushale being the succubus who's struggling against this kind of nature versus nurture thing, Also, I am a single guy who hasn't had a girlfriend in 2 years, and it's fun to pretend that I have a hot succubus girlfriend who loves me. That's the real reason. But I think she's got a great story. I think her romance is really good. And I think she's also just very useful in combat. The three characters I just always had around with me. Other characters kind of went, here and there or whatever. Sometimes I'd have Woljif or, Seelah or whatever. I'd switch them out now and then. Three characters I always had in my party: Regill, Lann, and Daeran. I always had them because they were. I loved their personalities, and their dialogue I thought was really good. I think Regill should have had more moments where she kind of like tricked demons. Because her class is an espionage expert, if I remember correctly. Because she was kind of like feeding information to the worshippers of Desna in that temple in Canabras. I don't remember the names of the NPCs, but so she kind of like behind the lines, kind of like feeding them information, right? And I think there should have been more moments where, like, I think there's one part in the Ivory Labyrinth or something where if you fail a persuasion check, she kind of like steps in for you and is like, can you not see that these are our whatever, these mortals are my property or some shit. I thought that was really, really good. I thought that was a good moment. Scroll up a bit here. I have more thoughts on all these characters, but I just kind of, off the top of my head, that's the stuff I can think of. Let's kind of go through here and double check them. Regill, top of the chart. Yeah, completely 100%. Fun to pretend I was Sakiba's girlfriend. When I, because of the pandemic, have had basically zero social interaction in real life for the past 2 years. Lann is just a complete Chad. I wish this guy existed in real life and he was my friend. He's super cool. Greybor, I would agree, high A tier. I love the professionalism thing he's got going on. Daeran is just really freaking funny. Oh, right. Okay. So I forgot to mention this about Regill. One thing, another reason I always had Regill in the party, aside from just like, Sakiba's waifu or whatever the fuck. Oh my God, who's sending me emails? Sorry, I got a notification there. But one thing I really like about Regill is if you have her in your party, like, as you're traveling around and you're interacting with these demons, they'll comment on her. They'll be like, I think Baphomet is like, what a disgusting creature. A succubus who is trying to ascend. You disgust me or something like that. And all these demons, like, they'll comment on her. And that's so interesting. It's so interesting to have that perspective and that insight. And, like, I love that. Moving on. Okay, Daeran. Yes, definitely A tier. Love him. Great quest line. I love that kind of like snooty rich kid thing. But he like changes throughout the story to kind of, he's a little more palatable, even though he's like, very like bourgeois, rich. Always, like, all of his solutions at the council are very like, throw money at it, or let's let the rich handle it. And I kind of love how like comically elitist it is. But I digress. Love it. Daeran. Woljif, high B tier, absolutely. Do I like him more than Camellia? I think I like Camellia a little more than I like Woljif. Or at least I like their character. I like the idea of their character and their growth. Just because that twist with Camellia and just how like it's just a hole that just keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper with how evil she is. I love that. So I kind of covered Camellia and Woljif there. Regill at the top of C tier. Sure, I guess. I don't know. My opinions on all these characters are a little more wishy-washy. Nenio, yeah, kind of low down there. Can't really talk much about Wenduag. But even though I haven't traveled with her for long in my second playthrough, I already like her more than Seelah and what's this guy's name? Sosiel. Ember. I don't know. I think I'm gonna move Ember up here. I'm gonna move Ember to the top of C tier. I'm not gonna do my girl dirty, keeping her down at the bottom like that. Ember is pretty good. I do like her. I never really used her much in my party because, like I said, I'm bad at the game. I played on like normal mode, but then reduced it to easy like halfway through the game because I'm kind of dog shit. And man, those difficulty walls are rough. So getting over those was quite difficult. But you know, I'm playing through the game again on normal, or actually I'm playing it through on Daring, which is like the rank above normal. And it's hard, but now that I definitely understand the mechanics more, it's a lot more fun. I digress. Seelah at the top of D tier. Who do I like, Seelah or Sosiel more? I like Seelah more than I like Sosiel, but I don't know. Both of them kind of land a little flat for me. Okay, well, that's kind of all I've got to say on the tier list for now. I've been recording for 51 minutes, 8 seconds. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with these characters. Maybe I've got more thoughts on like their individual characters and quest lines that maybe I'll talk more about one day, but probably not. Just because, like, I don't know if I feel like ever recording another one of these again. But this is kind of where I feel about the characters. If you agree or disagree with my rankings, please let me know. I would love to see how different people feel about the characters. Let's try to keep it respectful though in the comments section. Although that never works. Yeah, so this is it. This is the official tier list. Okay. Well, thank you so much for watching. If, you made it to the end here, I really appreciate that. Listening to my circle rambling in circles there. And I hope you have a good day. So thanks a lot for watching.